The Ouija, also known as a spirit board or talking board, is a flat board marked with the letters of the alphabet, the numbers 0 to 9, the words yes, no and goodbye, along with various symbols and graphics. It uses a small heart-shaped piece of wood or plastic called a planchette. Participants place their fingers on the planchette and it is moved about the board to spell out words. There's a lot of controversy surrounding the board, with some believing that it can unleash something truly evil while others believe it's just a board. Some Christian denominations have warned against using Ouija boards, holding that they can lead to demonic possession. Occultists on the other hand are divided on the issue, with some saying that it can be a positive transformation. Others reiterate the warnings of many Christians and caution inexperienced users against it. Paranormal and supernatural beliefs associated with Ouija have been harshly criticized by the scientific community, since they are categorized as pseudoscience, believing that the action of the board can be explained by unconscious movements by those controlling the pointer. For the last few years there has been a growing interest in Zozo, the supposed demonic entity that is often depicted on paranormal TV shows as having been conjured up by using the Ouija or spirit board. Little has been written about Zozo throughout the decades, yet the reports range from the 1800s to recent days. People across the world are claiming to have come in contact with someone or something calling itself Zozo. So what or who is it? The name Zozo exploded into popularity just a few years ago when paranormal shows began using the name as an explanation for supposed hauntings or cases of demonic possession. It's been spread around that when you use a Ouija board to conjure up spirits, Zozo might just answer the call, and when this happens it's believed you are as good as haunted. Over the years there have been many demonic possessions that have been attributed to the Ouija board. Here are two examples. The news headlines announced the town's descent into madness in March of 1920. In a small town in Southern California, police arrested 7 people who had stripped nude and began acting mad after playing with a Ouija board. Over the next several days, the madness spread like a disease throughout the town. One police officer joined the hysteria, stripping off his uniform and running into a local bank while screaming hysterically. A 15-year-old girl described her own nude and wild appearance as a result of her ability to communicate so effectively with spirits. Terrified of the spreading madness, town hall officials brought in truckloads of mental health specialists to examine all 1,200 members. While the professionals attributed the madness to a shared hysteria, the city government decided to take no risks. Ouija boards were banned within the town. This next story is controversial. In 1935, a man shot his wife 4 times in the back. Arrested by police at the time of the incident, the 78-year-old husband described his stressful relationship with his wife following her consultation with a Ouija board. His wife claimed to receive messages during weekly consultations of his infidelity with a neighbouring woman. The board allegedly told her that he gave the woman a great deal of money. After each consultation, the wife would give her husband a dark look and announce that she'd caught him in yet another lie. Over the course of several weeks, the wife tied him to the bedpost with wires and whipped his body with knotted ropes. She used a burning poker to wound him and stabbed him in the shins with a knife. Finally, under the brunt of bodily torture, he confessed anything she wanted to hear when she put a gun to his head. Satisfied by his confession, she left the gun on the nightstand. Freed yet still terrified, the husband seized the gun and shot her in the back before she could inflict any further harm. The courts ruled the murder a justifiable homicide since the husband was reasonably in fear for his life. In every reported encounter with the entity known as Zozo, there is a single common thread: darkness. To communicate with Zozo via a Ouija board is said to invite an unrelenting demonic force into your life. The first reported appearance of this entity occurred in 1816, when a girl in France fell victim to a severe demonic possession. She became the vessel for a number of demons, one of which was the mysterious Zozo. Later, when Ouija boards enter popular culture in the 20th century, stories of Zozo began to rise, with numerous tales told of the Ouija spirit, the one who devours souls and changes lives. Zozo is a complicated entity, or so it would seem. In most stories it's initially friendly, sometimes using a different name. Occasionally it will appear in the middle of a conversation with another spirit and interrupt the communication. The planchette performs strange figure 8s or inverted Zs, and answers become repetitive, but it does not take long for an encounter with Zozo to turn negative. It's difficult to tell which stories about Zozo are authentic and which are nothing more than urban legends. Some tell of murders and suicides, while others involve possession, abuse, curses and other phenomena commonly associated with demonic forces. The following are stories about Zozo that have appeared throughout the internet. Perhaps they'll give you a better idea of what it's like to summon the Ouija demon into your life. In 2012, a user at ghostspace.com shared the story of a confrontation with a suspicious Ouija spirit. Her friend had been asking the spirit board questions about her recently deceased father, which it answered correctly. Then the board turned its attention to her mother. Again, the board seemed to have a supernatural knowledge of their parents. Then the active spirit seemed to switch again. They asked who it was and the reply was haunting. The pointer went OZ, 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 OZO, so the users called it Oz. They asked it to blow out a candle to prove itself, but before they could finish the sentence, the candle was out. The strange spirit also knew the exact time when asked. However, it would later reveal the haunting truth that had been there the whole time, posing as her friend's father and mother, answering questions correctly by reading their minds. The two of them immediately put the Ouija board away when the spirit began to curse. They wanted nothing more to do with it. Unfortunately, when they returned to it a few weeks later, thinking the worst had passed, they again met Oz. He was nasty and still cursing and saying dark things. The users remembered from then on they seemed to experience nothing but bad luck. Another internet goer shared her experience with the demon. She had been using a Ouija board with a friend one cold Saturday evening, when the spirit they were talking to said it was called Zozo. At that exact moment, her friend began to complain of a terrible headache. Things would only get worse from there. That night, her friend sleepwalked into her sister's room. Her friend then started talking gibberish, screamed red, and then left the room, and could not be found in the house for a good half hour. She had seemingly disappeared. They searched and searched for her, every room of the house. When the girl finally gave up and checked her room one last time, mysteriously her friend was there. Had Zozo been playing a trick, or had it possessed this person? While many believe Zozo is a demon, there is a theory that Zozo is in fact nothing more than an evil spirit pretending to be a demon. After all, there's no reason to believe that ghosts and other strange entities must tell the truth. They don't have to play by any rules. So what do you think Zozo is? Is it a demon, an evil spirit, or perhaps nothing more than the imagination running wild during one of these sessions? I'd love to know what your thoughts are about this, so don't forget to leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more countdown videos.